Hey guys, so I'm just sat here listening to some Mind Over Matter by Young the Giant, and I was scrolling through Reddit, and I had been listening to a few Telegram videos about the state that we're in right now and how it hit him, how we're done for. And I've been involved in a lot of dissident spheres, everywhere from the far left all the way to the far right. And he had this Telegram video called The Death of Dissidents. And he believes that we're not in check, we're in checkmate. And I saw similar sentiments on the subreddit r/collapse. And this woman said that she believed that we're in checkmate as well. How people making snarky left-wing tweets isn't really going to do anything. It makes you feel good in the moment to sit there and say, haha, this billionaire is so dumb. And then he goes back to floating around on $550 million yachts. And you go back to wage cucking. And I've seen an increasing level of this sentiment on both the far left and the far right, where a lot of far-right people have just become doomers. And the whole doomer thing isn't even right-wing anymore. I'm kind of old, so I know the origin of doomer, but doomer used to be a very right-wing thing, but now it's spread because it seems like a lot of people have reached the same conclusion. I was looking at a few posts and memes, and I'll put them on the screen. I'm sure you've been reading them. And are these people correct? Are these far right and far left people, are they correct? Are we in checkmate? Is it over? Because I don't believe that making snarky tweets and roasting some billionaire's hairline or belly fat is really going to do anything. And then, you look at these dissident left or far right leaders, and I'm just not seeing people that could make real changes. For example, the guy I listened to on Telegram, he's formerly far right before he became disenfranchised with the dissident right, to the point where he hates them now. And he said, you look at guys like Richard Spencer and Thomas Sowell, and it becomes immediately obvious that these guys, they don't have good takes. They don't have a comprehensive worldview. They react to the flavor of the month. They're grifters, if not feds, half the time. Like the guy who founded the Proud Boys, he was a fed. If you didn't know, Thomas Sowell is the National Socialist leader of Australia. Richard Spencer was a leader in the alt-right, which peaked in 2016 but had already pretty much died by 2017. And then I look at the far left, or I look at big farther than center left influencers, people that are farther left than obviously liberals or center left social democrats. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I got nothing against these men, but they don't strike me as people that could make real differences in the lives of anybody. People like Hassan Abi and Second Thought, they're just not him. And I know that's a very vague statement, but I guess what I'm trying to say is you look at all these dissident movement, all these movements that have an issue with the status quo, and it becomes blatantly obvious that none of these groups, no matter where they are on the political spectrum, it doesn't matter if they're an anarcho-capitalist, it doesn't matter if they're a primitivist, it doesn't matter if they're an eco-fascist, it doesn't matter if they're far right, it doesn't matter if they're far left, it doesn't matter if they're a Trotskyist, it doesn't matter if they're a national socialist. None of these groups, and I mean none of them, have what it takes to get us out of where we're at. There is nobody. And I remember that, if you guys are old enough, you probably remember Occupy Wall Street. And their big gimmick was, oh, we don't have a leader. We all have equal power. Well, in my opinion, that was one of the worst takes of all time. You need a leader to be the head of a movement. I don't believe that horizontalism can ever work. And I have yet to see any proof that horizontalism can work. So I guess what I'm trying to say, my question to you, the watcher, are we in checkmate? Are we done for? I mean, really, like I'm beginning to see that maybe he and that woman on Reddit are right. We're not in check, we're in checkmate. You know, the right wing will, the far right, the dissident right, they go outside and they drop their banners, and, you know, they say, we were never asked, and, you know, they do their little marches with their black boots. And then you have the far left, and they have their snarky tweets where they make fun of the physical appearance of some billionaire, or they clap back at some conservative radio host, or, you know, you have Hassan who sits in his mansion and wears a Rolex hat while preaching about the distribution of wealth or redistribution of wealth. And it makes you realize that, are we in checkmate? But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to ask you guys.